Hello and welcome to Connected episode 317. It's made possible this week by our sponsors, Squarespace, Mack Weldon, and Pingdom. My name is Stephen Hackett, and it is an odd episode, so Myke Hurley is announced first.
Hi.
Hello.
I was waiting for you to go for Federico. Am I supposed to say something?
I don't know. Be like, hey, Stephen, how are you? I've missed you since last time I spoke to you.
Hello, Stephen. How are you? I missed you.
I'm pretty good. I miss you too.
Oh, that's nice.
And we're joined by Mr. Federico Vitici.
Hello, hi, how are you?
See, that's
polite.
the way you introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm. I also have an opening statement.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look at that then.
I'm very hungry.
Oh, okay. That's a good statement.
Yeah, just a statement. I didn't say that it was a topical statement, just a statement.
Or a good one.
Yeah.
I'll edit out the stomach noises.
Thank you.
Is that how a stomach sounds?
Sure.
We have some Ricky's follow-up that we got to deal with.
Let's read the rules.
Do you want me to read them?
No, yeah. No.
Do we have Ricky's today? No, we don't have Ricky's today, right?
I mean, who knows anymore?
But first, many people want us to do 3 normal rounds and then the risky picks. They say that just the 2 picks makes it too easy.
I was in the shower today.
Oh.
Thinking and arguing with myself and the audience about this notion.
Okay.
Because I'd read the show notes in the morning and then it popped into my head later on. That there are people that want us to do 3 normal rounds and then also have the Rickies.
And then the flexies.
It's a bad idea because then we're just becoming regular predictions show, right? Mm-hmm. The whole point of the Rickies is that the risky pick means win or lose.
Yeah.
Right? And if we have more points, there's more opportunity to win without the Ricky ever playing a part in it. Like,
agreed.
Having there be 3 total... Is it 3 total points? Who knows? Read the rules. Is it 3 total points?
You can
3 total points.
You can walk away with 4
3
points if you get
4?
round 1 and 2 correct and you're risky.
Right. But you can then also lose. You lose 1 point. So you can end up anywhere between 1 to 4.
0
I think if we
0 and 1 and 4.
Yeah. If you get anything right. But then, if we add in another one, it ends up with the ability for people to more easily win without the Ricky being involved. I like the way it is because as well, then we're just doing 3 rounds of regular-ish picks as well, which makes it like every other predictions show that you're going to hear in the week leading up to WWDC. Well,
right.
I added an extra W in there.
WWW.
Really worldwide
WDC.
Or any event, right? So I like it the way it is. We like it the way it is. There's a reason for it. I'm afraid
this is too long of an
it.
explanation. The thing is, the rules are right and many people are wrong.
Clearly, the rules have undergone a lot of debate and discussion. Obviously, this stuff doesn't just happen naturally. We believe our system is correct.
Look, it's not like even we came up with the rules, right? I think I remember there's a quote from Bono before the days that he became friends with Tim Cook. And he said something along the lines of that when he wrote songs, it was like God entered the room, right? And in a way, the Bill of Rickies was written this way. It's not like Myke and Stephen and Federico individually came up with the rules. It's like a presence walked into the podcast.
The presence was Ricky. Ricky came in.
Ricky, this figure, walked into the conversation and we were blessed with the rules. So how can you argue with that?
You also can't be upset at us because it was all seeing Ricky that gave us the rules.
Be upset at Ricky. Like I don't know.
I don't know what to do.
Wow. So that settles it. We 3 are in agreement on this. We've talked about this ourselves several times in the past, and yeah, the big thing is it demotes the strength of the Ricky pick, the risky pick, the Ricky's Ricky pick. And that should be like a grenade going off in your picks. So that's what we want. All right. I know this is unusual, but on occasion we update the rules for the Rickies. Mm-hmm. Just every 7 or 8 years, we tweak something. Mm-hmm. And there is a PDF document of the Rickies that was created by listener Mathis, and it has been updated with some of the changes we made. But as Myke pointed out,
I think
they have a little more work
Matthias.
to do.
Yeah, so Matthias had actually, this is kind of unfortunate, really. You may remember Matthias had created a very, very beautiful looking document that that looks like the obviously original document on nice old parchment paper, or like that paper that you stained with tea bag when you're a kid, or coffee granules, I guess, if you're an American. And this is kind of, the rare occurrence that we do update the rules. Matthias had given us a new version of the rules, including all of the Flexi amendments, on the morning of our last episode, the 14th, where on that episode another amendment was made. So, unfortunately, this document is only partly correct, because the newest amendment is the idea that the picks are valid from when the event begins, not when the episode ends. So, sorry. Please do more.
We love you.
I guess. Thank you, Matthias. We'll put the link in the show notes. It's very beautiful to read through, but it's incomplete.
I'm super glad none of us got the rules tattooed on our legs like we talked about.
Yep, and I'm also really, of course, we're not going to have to do this again soon, so I can't imagine there being any more rules to come up with, so I think we're fine there.
I mean, there's definitely one more event, right?
Oh, 100%, yeah. There's going to be one in November.
Yeah.
I would like to just, again, put my flag in the ground. I reckon it's going to be the 10th.
November 17th. Well, the event, yes, the 10th. I think
it's
so.
either the 10th or the 17th, right?
I think
release
OS release is maybe on the 17th.
Oh, you know what? I bet it's going to be the 10th is the event, because if they release products at the end of the week, they're going up against Black Friday if they do it on the 17th.
And then American Thanksgiving's right after that.
Well, no. Black Friday is after
right before. Yes, it's all together in the soup that is the end of November.
It's almost like they're connected.
Yeah. Hey, that's the name of the show.
Hey-oh, puns. Yeah. So I reckon November 10th.
Brance is saying, isn't the 17th a Saturday? I don't know. How there's no way to know.
Brance, I don't know what month you're looking in. You're looking at the 17th of October, which was a week ago. The chat room was lost there.
Yeah. So Apple event, we're thinking Tuesday, November 10th.
Yeah.
I could go with that. It's the day before Veterans Day. We got that going for us.
I will only believe it when Twitter user Love to Dream will tweet it.
Known leaker, as
in my
it's
dream,
referred to.
Apple event, November 10.
I'll only
Something like
believe
that.
it when the invites go out. How about that?
Look at you, Mr. Fancy.
So, Federico, your review has been out in the world for a week.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
How'd it do? Like, do you have anything you want to share now that it's been up for a bit?
It went really well. I'm really happy with it. The numbers are looking good, and the page views are looking good. The CDN costs are looking horrible. So that's a good sign. And the club signups are looking really good. So I'm happy with it. Obviously, I think a lot, I've seen a lot of comments from people on Reddit and Twitter say, I'm not interested now because I've been using iOS 14 for a month, which I think it's funny because you're still tweeting about it. So I guess thank you anyway. Like if you tweet my tweet about the review saying, I don't care about this, you're still sharing my link.
Yeah, it's much appreciated.
So thank you anyway. But I think the experiment has been successful in the sense that people still paid attention, I guess, and that's a very good sign. And obviously, like, ideally, I would like to go back to publishing on the day that iOS comes out, and I'm going to try next year. But now I know that even if I'm not able to make it by launch day, it's still going to be fine. Even a month later, like not even a week or 2 weeks, I published a month after the release of iOS 14, and it's been fine. Because these reviews have their own audience, I guess, at this point. So, yeah, I'm really happy with how it went, and I was really tired the next couple of days, but then I needed to go back to work. So, sort of that energy from the review crossed over into the iPad Air review. which we're gonna talk about later. But yeah, I'm happy with it, and people really responded well to the graphics that we did and the animation, the 3D graphics and the animation, which we discussed
Very nice.
last week. And yeah, also the response to the ebooks that we've done, multiple ebooks, that was really positive. So I think it's something we're gonna continue doing, especially extracting some tips, some specific features from iOS and iPadOS and turning those into a second ebook just for people who just want to know those details. So it went well, and we're really happy.
Oh, that's really good. That's really very good. I'm very pleased.
Myke, it is time for your tvOS review.
Unfortunately not.
Oh, come on.
I know. Well, look, the iPhone 12 embargo is up, so we need to talk about those. And then I guess next week, at least some of us here will have some phones. We'll talk about that later in a little bit, I think. And then also, upon the request of a friend of the show, enemy of the show, Jason Snell, Jason recommended to me on Upgrade this week that I wait for 14.2 because there are some changes coming to tvOS and like the HomePod and stuff. That's probably a good thing to wait. So I actually think it's probably for the best to wait for 14.2 to come out now, so I can have a really comprehensive review.
Comprehensive.
Full of features. To be honest, though, it is worth waiting because I still don't even think YouTube is 4K yet. It's coming. I
haven't seen it.
I've gotten 1440p, and is it 2160? Is that the number? I don't remember.
Yeah. Yes.
That's come back on my iPhone again. During the beta period, I could watch higher than 1080 on my phone. Then when 14 came out, it went away. And then like a couple of days ago, it came back again. So I think Google's doing whatever it is they need to do again on their end to get ready to push that out. So there you go. But yeah, of course, the review is in the works, but now needs to be beefed up with the features of 14.2. So
this episode of Connected is brought to you by Squarespace. Make your next move with Squarespace. It lets you easily create a website for your next idea with unique domain name, award-winning templates, and more. Maybe you need an online store or want to host a portfolio or write a blog or have a podcast. Whatever you want to do, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that lets you do it. And the best part is there's nothing to install. You don't have to worry about server patches or upgrades because Squarespace has all of that stuff covered for you. They have award-winning 24/7 customer support if you need any help. Lets you quickly and easily grab a unique domain name, and all of their award-winning templates are beautifully designed for you to show off your great ideas. I've used Squarespace for a whole bunch of projects. One great feature, if you just need a simple landing page, you can sign up for Squarespace. They have these great one-page designs where you can drop in a picture and maybe links to your social media, paragraph, download a resume, something like that. And it's fantastic. You can get it up and running in just a few minutes. Squarespace plans start at just $12 a month, but you can start a trial with no credit card required by going to squarespace.com/connected. When you decide to sign up, use the offer code CONNECTED to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain name and to show your support for the show. Once again, that's squarespace.com/connected and the code CONNECTED to get 10% off your first purchase. We thank Squarespace for their support of the show and all of Relay FM. Squarespace, make your next move, make your next website.
Flip-flop.
No, thong sandal. Thong sandal.
Flip-flopped.
Thong sandal.
Mm-hmm.
You flip-flopped already. Captain Flip-flop. So, Stephen, how you excited about putting a pre-order in for a Pro Max like we spoke about last time?
Oh, yeah. Well, I got a phone coming on Friday, so.
Oh, flip-flop.
Oh, hold on. So I before we get into these details, I am putting out a call to our listeners. Somebody needs to make a timeline of Steven's flip-flopping here. And if you can, please use the Westworld timeline that they did for like season 3, showing like all the different events that occurred in the timeline. I think before season 3 aired, they had like this video or like promo teaser, whatever, showing like all the different events in a timeline. And I feel like that would be really beautiful with Steven's flip-flopping for the different iPhones he's going to buy. So if somebody can make that, we're going to use it in the show notes. Thank you.
Flip-flop.
Thong sandal.
So what happened between Wednesday and Friday
So Wednesday after the show, I went on vacation with my family. And it was a fantastic vacation. The best vacation I've had
Congratulations.
in years. And I had my 11 Pro with me. I took my iPad mini, actually finished Federico's review on vacation. And I was like, well, I'm going to order the phone. We talked last week about how I was going to give John like my credit card, and then the Max was delayed, so I wasn't going to have to order it on vacation. And I really just, I was in the woods, right? I was one with nature.
One with nature. What does that mean?
It means I was one with nature, man. And nature told me that I would be unhappy with the Max size.
Did you happen to eat any mushrooms when you were like foraging in nature or anything?
What's the name of that thing that people do with like into a tent with lots of like with
Camping?
like no like a Vision Quest, and there's like a tent and there's like
And they drink like ayahuasca and stuff.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Was it like, is that what you mean by being one with nature, Stephen?
I mean, I had my young children with me, so.
Yes, a sweat lodge. Thank you. Thank you, chat
Lodge.
room. A sweat lodge.
Did you go to Burning Man? Is that where you were?
It's a single person Burning Man. It's a burning person.
Socially distant Burning Man. Anyway, so I really remembered that the 10S Max, I didn't like the size at all. And I thought for something that I carry with me and is in my pocket all the time, the size is a really important thing. So I ended up going with the 12 Pro. It shows up on Friday. It left Alaska yesterday at some point. And yeah, I'm excited to get it. We're going to talk about all the reviews and stuff in a little while, but it seems like it is an improvement over the camera I have, and I feel good about it.
You're going to regret this. I really feel that you will. Like, this was the whole reason in the first place. I am very confident that in, 2 weeks' time, when the reviews all drop, I bet that you're going to feel like you wish you would have waited.
I can't believe you've done this.
This really does. I mean, I feel like I say this a lot when you do this. This like sets a new standard for your flip-flopping.
This is like the show is making itself. We didn't even have to do anything, Myke and I. We just, you have done this to yourself.
Just make it happen.
Oh my God, this is incredible. So
VVeg in the Discord does point out that the return policy ends the day before you can pre-order the Max.
So we already know all the events that are going to happen. This is just perfect. It's a beautiful thing you've done, Stephen, for the show. Not even for yourself.
What are you going to do with your old phone?
It's here. I don't have a place for it to live yet.
Now you see, this is it, Federico. This is his get out of jail free card here. So Stephen will get the new phone on Friday.
Yeah.
He'll be really happy.
Yes.
Then the reviews of the new one will come out.
Yes.
He'll be really sad.
Yes.
He'll take his SIM out of his new phone, put it back in his old phone.
Mm-hmm.
I guess get somebody to take the old phone back for him because he'll be bedbound because you're having a surgery.
Yes.
And then then pre-order the new one. And
They
then
can
wait
come
a few
pick it
more
up
days.
for you. I think at least in Italy, they can come pick it up for you. You don't even have to go anywhere.
Look at that. Don't tell him things like that. It's just adding fuel to the fire over there.
No, I mean, there's nothing we can do at this point, right? The wheels are in motion and Steven is getting multiple iPhones. Like, there's literally nothing we can do. And this is perfect. This is perfection. This is podcast perfection if I've ever seen it.
Or even more so, the reviews come out and he decides for a fleeting moment to get a mini.
No.
No.
I think the other...
I mean, who can tell, though?
The other potential outcome is that it's going to keep both for a while. And maybe try and sell the 12 Pro or return the Pro Max if he really doesn't like it. I don't know, Steven, we were talking about you. What's your opinion? We're just speculating here.
Yep.
I mean, as the chat room and Discord points out, I did give up the Max because it was too big, and that my hands haven't changed size.
Right, but it was... I think the problem was maybe it was too big for no difference.
And your thought is that the camera would be enough for me to get over the dissatisfaction with the size.
Yes. That is definitely what I think will be the case.
I will say there's people also in the Discord and y'all talking about the Mini. So my wife has expressed interest in the Mini, which I did not expect. She really likes Touch ID, but she likes the idea of a smaller phone than her second gen SE. So there may be a Mini coming to our house, which be interesting.
That's like the perfect phone for Mary, right?
Yeah.
Because what was the phone that Mary moved to before going down to the SE?
She had the 8 and then went to the SE.
Right.
So it was the same size.
Kate has pointed out in the chat room, Stephen can get a Mini, then if he doesn't like it, can give it to Mary.
Yeah.
So this is how all this rolls out. I would just like to make a point here that I don't know if you've considered. What was the last large phone you had?
The 10s Max.
Before the 10s Max?
The whatever the 7 Plus.
8 Plus?
7 Plus.
7 Plus?
So I went 7 Plus to 10.
So you went from 7 Plus to 10. Were you upset with the 7 Plus at all, to your memory?
No.
Because the 11 Pro Max is actually ever so slightly smaller than the 7 Plus.
But the screen is so much bigger. The reach.
Yes.
What kills it.
Yes. But you might have that problem, and I think you may very well have that problem with the 12 Pro, because the screen is bigger.
Yeah, we'll see. It's only a little bit taller. Not huge.
Well,
we'll follow up in a couple weeks.
We will.
MagSafe stuff showed up. It seems really cool. The clear case is really ugly on the back.
It's an abomination.
It's so bad.
That's what it is.
What I want is a battery case with this that I can just magnetize onto my phone, and it doesn't add all the height that the current one does. Because the current one, you have the lightning port you've got to like line up and get in. And I think it'd be awesome to have just a MagSafe battery case.
Yeah, I can see that. I assume they will do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why exactly. Like, I figure we can assume why Apple doesn't release the battery cases at the same time. But I don't really know who that is to service other than themselves. Right? Because, like, they don't release the battery cases, you'd assume, at the same time, because they want people to think that the batteries are fine and you don't need one. But I don't get the like, long-term thinking of that. Right? It's like, people want it. Just let them buy it, right? Like, if you're going to make it anyway, why do you make them wait? Because if you're coming from the battery case lifestyle, right? You got a battery case in your current phone and you live the battery case life, you will be dissatisfied by the battery life in the new phone that you're getting.
Right, because you're used to twice that.
Yeah, there's nothing Apple can do to double the battery life in the next phone. So you may as well just release them all at the same time. I don't... Like, realistically, I'm not sure why they wait it out like that. I don't know. Or maybe they just assume that people that get the battery case, by and large, are holding on to the phones for longer, maybe, so they're not upgrading every year. I don't know. But still, I just think they may as well release those battery cases along with the phones.
All right. I have another dilemma for y'all.
Okay. Oh, I got... Well, just while we're on the idea of all that stuff coming in. So I will be assisting the possession of a 12 Pro this week. So Adina got a 12 Pro in blue, which we're getting on Friday. We're actually going to the Apple Store to pick it up.
No.
Yep. We're going to see what that's like.
Okay.
Right. That's the plan. We're gonna. My understanding of the pickup process, especially in London, is it's been done outside. It's just what they've been doing before. So we're just gonna see what that's like. We're gonna go to the Apple Store on iPhone launch day and pick up a phone. So wish us luck, I guess, but that's what we're doing. And so I'm intrigued. We've got the case that's come in. We've got one of the plum cases. The cases are nice, but immediately, like, when picking up the case, it's like, oh, that feels different because the edges are all flat and stuff. So I'm very excited for this new phone from a physical standpoint. We also ordered 2 of the MagSafe things, but they come next week.
Yeah, I did a Twitch stream about it, but the MagSafe is about the same size as the AirPods case, like the surface of the MagSafe, which makes sense, right? It's about the width of the back of the phone. But it was very strange to unbox it because it's like an Apple Watch charger that got steamrollered, like squished flatter and thinner. But it's cool. I think MagSafe's going to be great. I'm going to replace the Mophie charger on my desk with the MagSafe charger that I bought, I think. So looking forward to all that coming in, and we'll be talking about the phones, I'm sure, much more over the next few weeks.
Oh, yeah. Especially more so this time because it's all spread out.
Yeah. And then all of November and December, I get to talk about Apple Silicon Macs and Big Sur. It's going to be fantastic.
Maybe.
You say maybe?
Yeah. Maybe the event is just for AirTags.
Like, sorry, this event took so long. Ironically, we lost the AirTags. So
we hadn't turned them on yet, so we couldn't put an AirTag on the AirTag.
do you see the rumor they're going to come in 2 sizes?
Yeah, I don't really know what the thinking is.
What? I mean, I guess, so one is smaller, so you can like put it like in a wallet, and one is bigger, maybe has better battery life, and you could stick it like in a suitcase, something that doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm very interested, but I also have no use for AirTags in the current state of the world. So
Yeah, it really feels like a product out of time, doesn't it?
So does the battery case a little bit. I mean, I know some people use it all the time. For me, at least, it's only on when I travel. And so it's no big deal to me right now that there's not going to be one for the new phone.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay. Can I present my problem to the connected listenership?
Does that include me and Federico, or are we out of this one?
I mean, if y'all want to hang around, I would like you to.
Oh, so like our opinion's not important.
Well, your opinion is important, but I also want listeners to tweet at me with their suggestions for what I do here.
Are you doing some social media engagement right now?
I am.
Okay.
Please follow, like, and subscribe. TikTok me. I'm not on TikTok. I'm too old. Okay, let's rewind back to September. We were doing the podcast-a-thon, which, Myke, was a month ago now. Feels a lot longer.
Oh, look at that.
A lot longer than a month. One of the things during the podcast-a-thon was I was going to put the wheels on my Mac Pro. We set it. I bought them. They came in. I donated the amount of the Mac Pros to St. Jude on my stream to offset the guilt I had about spending that kind of money on something silly. The plan was...
Well, because the reason you bought the proper wheels was because of this.
Right. So the other side of this that never happened was that Mac Sales, OWC, they announced a product in early September called the Rover Pro. There'll be a link in the show notes. It's in the Discord now. And what this product is, it is feet for the Mac Pro, but they connect to the feet. So with mine, I had to get this like crazy bendy screwdriver and put a weird bit on it and unscrew the feet and then put the wheels on. It was, about half an hour's worth of work. These things, the foot stays on there and there's a top and a bottom part and the wheels on the bottom part, and it sort of sandwiches over the foot. So if you look in the show notes, there's a link. You can go see this. It makes more sense when you see it, I think. So I ordered them in September. Well, it turns out that was a pre-order and they didn't come because what I wanted to do is I wanted to compare these versus the Apple wheels and like a video, make it a milestone in the campaign. I thought it would be a fun thing to do, but they didn't ship. And so I said, well, I've got these, I still want to do something with them. So I put the Apple wheels on my Mac Pro in that video. Then I had the feet, right, that came off the Mac Pro, and I put them on the Performa 6400 that we filled up with bouncy balls as we raised money. A machine that I still have. There's a link in the show notes so you can see where the problem is. The feet of a Mac Pro were never designed to go on a Performa 6400, it turns out.
What?
I know.
Who's leading that team over there?
I know. Apple's design has really just come off the rails since Johnny Ive left.
You would think that now that Johnny left, they would make considerations like this.
They really lost the functional high ground.
Has Johnny made any products?
I don't know.
Has Love From done anything yet?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so, right?
So I figured, well, I'll put these OWC wheels on the Performa, right? So I'll have my Mac Pro with the Apple wheels. I have my bouncy ball Performa with the OWC wheels. And I was going to do this. They came Monday, I think. Showed up in the mail finally. And yesterday I was like, well, I'll do a stream I'll put the Performa on the bench and put these wheels on it. If you look at the picture in the show notes, you will see the problem that I have is that the sides of the Performa case come down and the Mac Pro feet are kind of tucked behind it. Now, I put the Mac Pro feet where the feet were for the Performa. So how I did this was I unscrewed the plastic feet that it had and took a Mac Pro foot to Home Depot and found a screw that fit the threading. I'm the only person to have ever taken a Mac Pro foot into Home Depot. I promise I'm the only one. And so it's in there. It's pretty steady, but I can't put the wheels on it because of the way the OWC wheels work. They create that sandwich around the foot, and there's not clearance around the skirt, around the bottom of the Performa case. So here are my options. Option number one is to modify the Performa case, which I don't really want to do for a couple of reasons. One, I have to take all the bouncy balls out of it, which takes forever. I have a trap door in the back that I can open and pull the balls out, but it takes forever.
And also leaves you up to just hilarious mishaps.
Like, I vacuumed in my office the other day and like sucked up a bouncy ball under a bookshelf into the shop vac. It's like, oh, one escaped under there.
Nice.
So there's that. So I could empty the Performa. I could take the feet off. I could build some sort of platform under it that you wouldn't see to give me extra height to clear the wheels. I can do all of that. I don't particularly want to because it's a lot of work, and I like the idea that the Performa is as it was in the podcastathon, right? I built it to keep it, and you can see in the photos, like I have it, the lights on it. I have it on a smart switch, so I tell HomeKit to turn on the bouncy balls, and the lights light up. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to modify the Performa. And to get the feet off of it, I have to empty it. So my other thought is, well, I have these wheels. What else could I do with them? And so that's sort of the question. If people really want me to modify the Performa, I will think about it some more. But what else could I put these OWC wheels on that would be funny or that would be like a good project to do?
Well, I have a suggestion. You're not going to like it.
Oh, no.
Is that you do what this whole thing was supposed to be. You put the feet back on the Mac Pro, you put the OWC wheels on the Mac Pro, and compare them to Apple's wheels.
But even then, I have to take the Performa apart to get the feet off. Like the way the screws hold the feet in, I have to have a screwdriver.
I told you you're not going to like it. I did say you're not going to like it.
Don't like it.
Or maybe, can you buy the feet? Maybe you just buy more feet?
I can buy more feet. They're $300.
Why not just keep adding the cost of this project? Just keep building it up and up and up. And now buy feet.
So buy
and then
feet.
You have extra feet.
Put them on my Mac Pro and then compare.
Yep. Buy feet, put them on the Mac Pro, then do the wheel comparison between the two. So then this becomes a, $900 project? How much are the feet?
Let's see. The wheels, so the OWC wheels are $200. The Mac Pro wheels from Apple are $700. The feet are another $300. It'd be a $1,200 project.
Well, that's fine.
And we already raised the money.
In YouTube revenue, surely. That's how that works, isn't it?
Is that how it works? I need to call my accountant.
You just got to go viral.
That's the thing. It has to go big on YouTube for this to work.
Well, here's the thing. Do you value $300 more than the time that it will take you to take the feet off the Performa?
No, that's a question that's hard to answer.
But that's what you need to work out. Because that would be my suggestion. I'm sure Federico would agree with me. You bought these two sets of wheels to do a comparison between the OWC wheels and the Apple wheels. So do the comparison. Okay. You agree with me, Federico, I'm sure?
Yes, I do.
See, I knew it.
So let me know on Twitter what
you flip-flopped on this one too.
I did flip-flop on this one. Did the feet have a return policy? Also, I could just return the OWC wheels, but I have them, and I feel like I need to keep them. Mac Pro wheels. Let's see. Mac accessories.
I mean, how would you possibly know if something had a return? I can't see anywhere on Apple's website where it says anything that has a return policy on it.
Mac components. Mac Pro feet kit.
$299.
Wow, I can get them tomorrow. That's incredible.
Well, who else is buying them?
That's right, yeah.
People buy the wheels. Nobody buys the feet.
No, yeah, right. So let me know what people think.
I think everyone's going to agree with me and Federico.
That I need feet?
Well, that you need to do what you set out to do, right? Which is to compare the two wheel types. How you go about doing that, that's your own decision that you need to come to as to whether you buy wheels or use the wheels you already own. Feet you already own, I should say.
Okay. So let me know on Twitter. Hit me up. I did. There's like as like 1/3 option is that I mean, even if I buy the feet, like do the video comparing them, but then like what do I put the feet and wheels on permanently? Like do I get a Mac Mini and put the feet on? Like something funny? We'll see.
I mean, that's on, you decided to go the performer route. I'm sure you have something else in the studio that you can put them on. Yeah. Maybe you could put the wheels on a chair.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And then you have an extra rolly chair.
I have a dehumidifier. Maybe I could replace its wheels with Mac Pro wheels.
Yeah, because you would then put the Mac Pro feet on something and then put the wheels on that thing.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's on you then, right? Imagine all the things you could do.
Put it on my display. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see where that goes. Another thing to follow up on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take another break so I can pay for Mac Pro feet. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Mack Weldon. The new normal, in air quotes, uniform has a lot of us searching our closets and drawers for men's essentials that just aren't there. Instead of the usual business casual buttons up and jeans, it's soft knit polos, tees, joggers, and active shorts. I like my shorts to be active. Whatever men's basics you need, Mack Weldon has you covered with unmatched comfort and fit. I know I just made a joke about active shorts, but my favorite thing from Mack Weldon is their sweatpants. They are incredible.
I'm wearing them right now.
You're wearing them right now.
Right now I'm wearing them. The Ace sweatpant. That is a good sweatpant.
I would, but it's like 90 degrees in my office and I would die. But once it's cool, I'm just going to wear them all the time because they are super comfortable. They have nice pockets in them, which a lot of sweatpants don't have.
So good. Zips.
It's fantastic. Mack Weldon promises comfort and a consistent fit across their socks, shirts, hoodies, underwear, polos, or active shorts. From working out, going to work, or on a date, or I guess, hanging out on Zoom, Mack Weldon is for everyday life. With a wide range of customized fabrics that can keep up with you no matter what your day looks like. And Weldon Blue is their totally free loyalty program. Level 1 gets you free shipping for life. Once you reach level 2 by spending $200, get this, you get 20% off every order for the next year. That is an awesome deal. Mack Weldon wants you to be comfortable. So if you don't like your first pair of underwear, you can keep it and they'll still refund you, no questions asked. For 20% off your first order, visit MackWeldon.com and enter the promo code CONNECTED. That's MackWeldon.com, promo code CONNECTED for 20% off. Mack Weldon is reinventing men's basics. Our thanks to Mack Weldon for their support of the show and Relay FM. It is the week of product review embargoes. So let's start with the phone. We have a whole bunch of links in the show notes, a video from MKBHD. Mm-hmm. The Verge did separate videos on the 12 and 12 Pro. Both are really good. And then Gruber wrote a review over on Daring Fireball that I read last night. Also very good. I like his review a lot because he focuses on the size differences in the devices because the 12 Pro actually isn't quite as big as the old 10R and 11. And it's kind of an in-between. So anyways, all very interesting stuff. If you haven't seen these, go spend some time with them. And I thought maybe we could share our thoughts based on this because so far, we just have some accessories. We don't have the phones. This is kind of our first look. So let's start with some of the accessories. Let's start with the wallet. This is something that I am interested in. I pre-ordered one, but I'm maybe second guessing that, watching how it performs in these videos.
Doesn't look good. Does not look good at all. This is too bad. Multiple reasons. 1, it doesn't look like it's easy to align very well. 2, the magnets aren't strong enough. So, like in MKBHD's video, puts it in his pocket, catches in his jeans, pops right off. 3, to get any of the cards out, you have to take the wallet off the phone because there's a hole on the back which you push the cards out of. It's not convenient or I think even possible to get the cards out of it without taking it off. This is no bueno. And it does call into question, I think, the strength of the magnets and or if if accessories will hold it. And I've seen some people say this, and it makes sense that maybe if like the magnets on the other side are strong enough, maybe it will be able to hold on stuff. I will say, I only have the case, right? But I put Adina's iPhone 11 in her 12 Pro case and stuck it on the side of my fridge today, and it held. So I don't know. Magnets, how do they work? We're all going to find out. But this magnet wallet, it doesn't look very good. Like, I've seen videos of other people. I think Jonathan Morrison did this, like putting the MagSafe on the back and the phone will hang off. So like maybe the magnets are stronger there and the wallet just doesn't have strong magnets in it. But it doesn't look like the product that we all thought it was going to be, this wallet, for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be sticking with a third-party wallet case for when I go out.
Yeah,
because I never once it occurred in the past year that the wallet case, the little opening, the little slot opened itself. Mm-hmm. Like it's very reliable.
It's the Bellroy one you use.
It's the
right?
Bellroy one. Yes, I love it, and I'm guessing that they're gonna make an iPhone 12 Pro Max version.
Surely, yeah.
So because I only use it when I go out, and these days, unfortunately, I don't go out much, I think I'm going to be sticking with that. I love the idea of the...
Federico, they're already selling it.
There you go. Perfect. Really?
They already have it for the 12 Pro, 12 Mini, and the 12 Pro Max. You can buy it, and it's expected to ship within a week.
That's perfect. Okay. So, there it is.
You should go buy it before we put the show out, and then, just in case it bumps it.
Very nice.
But that looks like the right product for you, then. Still,
yeah, I'm gonna be sticking with this.
That's a shame, though, right?
Really, I had high hopes for this one, but just the idea that the cards are you basically cannot remove them, and it sort of looks like it can slide off the phone depending on the if you have like tight jeans, for example. I don't like it. I don't like the sound of that or the look of that. So I am gonna put in an order for the Bellroy phone case 3 card, €75 for the iPhone 12 Pro. Okay.
I mean, I don't think I would have gone this route anyway, because that's just not a thing for me. I like separation in those products, but I think I can see how it would be frustrating for people. I think I could have ended up like buying one for vacations. Right, like if you're at the beach or whatever, I could imagine just having it all in one little tight, like compact thing would be nice. But other than that, I like to keep my wallet and phone separate. Like I was thinking about this afterwards. Like at first, I was really intrigued about it, but then it's like, I don't think I actually wouldn't be able to go down to 3 cards very easily anyway. I kind of have 4 card minimum, and I can't imagine not needing those if I need a wallet. Because if I don't need to take 4 cards, I can just use Apple Pay. So I take my wallet when I need to have all the cards at my disposal. So I think it would be too tricky for me to go to change otherwise.
I've never really tried this Life before, and I thought that the Apple one could be a nice way to get into it. But if it like slides off the back when you put your phone in your pocket, that's not great. No,
especially like... because that's the way I put my phone in my pocket, screen towards me. Right? And I have spoken about this. Like, I use a pop socket, right? My pop socket doesn't get caught. So you could do, like what I do, what I've just ended up internalizing is I kind of guide the phone into my pocket, right? So if you did that...
like a hand guard or something.
Yeah. Yeah, if you did that, the product might not come off. But I still wouldn't want to trust in that system for my wallet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, thank you on that one.
So moving along, let's talk some about the colors and finishes on the phone. It seems like the iPhone 12 line is really, it's like inconsistent. The blue is very saturated. The product red is not. It's like almost, it's not quite the Coral 10R, but it's way lighter than, say, the product red iPhone 8 or SE.
Yeah. This has surprised me because I assumed that the red in product red wasn't something that you changed. I thought it was a fixed color.
It's been very similar for a really long time. I mean, my wife has a product red SE, and it's super saturated. It looks awesome. But this thing is just, I was really surprised when I saw it. And You know, these reviews are done by people who like know what they're doing on YouTube with color and cameras and stuff. So I believe that they are as accurate as they can be in terms of color reproduction on the video. I don't know. It's sort of just surprised me, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but of the stuff, I've only seen the red and the blue one. I don't recall from any of the videos that I've seen, I think even photos, I think I've only seen the red and blue. I think Jason Snell has a black one, but I haven't seen any pictures yet of his. But the colors, I don't like them in the 12, like the regular 12. I do not like them. They don't do it for me. No, Jason has a blue one.
Ah, okay.
I just checked. Jason has a blue one too, I think.
Okay.
But they don't do it for me. I'm not a fan.
The other thing that surprised me a little bit in looking at the finishes is I think I like the matte rails better this time. And maybe it's just the Pacific Blue, which is what 12 Pro, like most people got, it seems like. I don't like how like the bright blue stainless finish, and it seems like a real fingerprint magnet.
Well, I don't think you're going to be happy with the silver one that you got then.
It's also going to be fingerprint magnet, but...
You'd imagine. Like, I don't think silver would be any different. Me over here in Gold Club, though, I'm having my own experience. Did you see this? This came from Matthew Panzarino's review. This is a long quote here, so bear with me. Most of the iPhone 12 Pro finishes still use a physical vapor deposition, I don't know what that word, how to say that, process for edge coating. But the new Gold uses a special high-power impulse magnetron sputtering TIPIMS process.
Magnetron.
Sputtering. Sputtering doesn't sound good from a machine, right? That sputtering to me makes it kind of sound like it isn't very efficient. But anyway.
Or like the machine is dying as it makes your iPhone like go into the world.
So it uses the HIPIMS process that lays down a coating in a super dense pattern, allowing it to be tough and super bright with a molecular structure that mimics the stainless steel underneath, making it more durable than the standard PVD coating. One side effect is that it's actually easier to wipe clean and takes on less fingerprints, something that my blue model was definitely prone to.
Oh, I'm getting the gold one then. Okay.
There
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is a bunch of beautiful words. Imagine if Johnny Hive could still read this.
Yep. Matthew Panzarino's reviews are always very, very good.
Yes.
Impulse magnetron sputtering process that lays down
HIPIMS.
There was another one.
Sputtering robot.
Super dense pattern. Well, this sounds very
Molecular.
nice.
Was it molecular?
Molecular structure. Can you say that again, Myke?
Molecular structure.
Can you play up the English in your accent?
I already am. I don't know.
No, go
Is that
for
really
it.
your accent? Like you don't like when you talk at home, you're not different?
Only a little, but it's like less fancy. It's more, all right, mate. You know, not that exact thing, but that's closer to what it is, I guess.
Okay.
What if I was just like molecular structure? Is that what you're looking for?
Oh God.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
we
it
found
sounds
it. We
very
got
nice.
there. I'm going for a bit of the Queens, I suppose. There you go. So anyway, I'm very pleased about that gold. And I think that, honestly, though, like, this explains something as to why I was so instantly drawn to it and why it photographs so differently, because they're doing something different to it that makes it look so shiny. Because it was the shininess of the images of that phone that made me like, oh, that's the one I want. And it seems like it's made differently to the other ones, and that I guess makes sense then why it does look so different, because it is different.
It's all that sputtering that makes it different.
It's all the sputtering. I love my gold to be sputtered only. If you're not sputtering the gold, I do not want it.
I love my sputtered iPhone. Yes, and all those magnetrons.
Magnetron.
It's full of you can tell it's full of magnetrons. We should have known from the photo. Like, it's obviously magnetron.
These phones, though, I mean, irrespective of the colors, which are a bit hit and miss, the overall look of them, I am very into it. I am very into it.
So what are the reviews I'm supposed to read? Because as you can tell, like, I've been in total isolation writing.
Well, watch the videos. My favorite videos is MKBHD and the 2 Verge videos. Dieter reviews the 12, Nilay reviews the 12 Pro. But like if you just look at the video footage from the Verge's reviews, like you get a lot of really good looks at like how these phones look, and there is like the flatness of these phones is very stark compared to a lot of what else is out there, because I don't remember which Verge review this was from, but it's basically like there is no curve, right? It's like it goes straight to an edge and then there's a screen, and right, so it's just like these little boxes. But with the way that Apple makes phones these days compared to how they did last time with these, it's quite special, right? There's no chamfering anymore, right? Like there's not this like big like edge. It just is like boom boom, and they look good. It looks really nice. Very nice. I'm excited. Magnetron. The Dolby Vision stuff is interesting. So apparently it's backwards compatible with standard displays, in a sense that like if you're going to share it with somebody who doesn't have an iPhone, it will strip the HDR out of the video and share it in a compatible format, which is clever. It's kind of what you would want, right? But because so apparently Apple and Dolby seem to have worked together to create a new version of the Dolby Vision standard to work for these phones. So it means if you have a Dolby Vision television, it has to be updated with the new spec to actually get the HDR to look right. But devices that support it, which currently include all iOS devices, the Apple TV, which has to be in a certain mode, which seems weird, and no Mac until Big Sur can play back this footage. But apparently, as they're saying, the Dolby Vision video looks fantastic. So I'm excited about that, just to see what that looks like. I don't take a ton of video. I don't know if you do, either of you. I don't really take a lot of video at all. I'm a photos person, but I'm intrigued to see what it looks like anyway. Stephen, I would bet you probably take the most video out of the three of us because you have children.
Yeah, it's a dad. It's a dad parent thing. Dad thing. Hey kids, get in the home video.
Do you like take an iPad and you film them with that? That feels like a double dad thing. Federico, do you take a lot of video?
Yeah, of my dogs.
Okay. Yeah, I can imagine that. Dogs and children. Yeah, I don't really take any videos because I don't have a dog or a child.
You have an Amazon Echo. You could take video of it.
That's true. I could do that.
Or you could get a dog.
I don't want one.
You could make a child. Just a thought.
Just have a baby, so you need to shoot video. Do it for the review, man.
Do it for the job, man. Do it for the listeners.
Like I would say, like I had to buy it for my work. It's like I had to have this baby for my work. I will posit that one
expense.
At home. We'll see how that goes down.
Sure, it's the most romantic proposition ever. It's for the podcast.
I need to have a baby for the show.
Or you could buy Mac Pro feet and OWC wheels and just put wheels on something.
Same deal, really. Similar kind of sacrifices.
Steven, I just had a thought. Can you put the wheels under your shoes?
Oh, you could have like the most expensive Heelys of all time.
Yeah. What was the thing between rollerblades and roller skates that we did with the emoji? What's when the shoe has four wheels? Is it a roller?
Oh, that's
skate?
a roller skate. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you make roller skates with the Mac Pro wheels?
So I'm gonna need, instead of 4, I'm gonna need 8.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Well, you could
There's
make
no way in which I hurt myself.
One roller skate out of the OWC wheels, one roller skate out of the the Apple wheels, and compare the roller skateability of the two. That's what people really need to know.
Wow. That's incredible. Pasta Boy points out that if you pre-order a baby now, it takes 9 months to get here. So
that's a very good point.
The Dolby Vision stuff does look cool. Something that in Nilay's review on The Verge of it is showing it, and like you see that it's displaying the phone get brighter because it's playing that HDR content. And I think if you have like an all HDR world like TV, and you got a Mac that supports it and your iPhone supports it, it's going to be fantastic. But I think they were smart to make it backwards compatible, because some HDR video that's played on SDR displays looks bananas, And so they've done things, I guess, to keep that from happening, which you would expect from Apple. They even though they break forward in a lot of ways, when it comes to this sort of thing, it's like when they changed the file formats for photos, right? Like you can still share it as a JPEG, you can still shoot it as a JPEG if you want. So they think they do a pretty good balance of that.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's talk about 5G.
Okay.
It's here if you're in the right place. If you're not in the right place, it's not there. I do want to point people to Joanna Stern's video about ultra wideband 5G, which is the really fast one. She went to an empty stadium that was outfitted with Verizon's 5G ultra wideband, and the speed is just mind blowing. Of course, she's the only person there. Ultra wideband, the problem is that it's super limited in range. Like all around this stadium, they have lots of these shots of these huge boxes that are the antennas, and there's just probably hundreds of them just in the one area. So it's not what most people will see. Most people will see sub-6 out and about. What is neat, though, is a couple little details that I don't think we knew before. One, I think Apple did maybe mention this one, that the phone will use LTE and then just jump up to 5G when needed.
Yeah.
You can also, in settings, turn 5G off completely if you don't want to even deal with that. And tethering. So if you tether from your phone to your Mac or to another device, I guess the bandwidth of the tethering itself has gotten better this year, and so you can get higher speeds when tethering than you could before. So you can imagine if you're tethering on ultra wideband, it's like, oh yeah, I got 800 down on my laptop or my iPad. That'd be pretty sweet. So Apple has thought about that too, and it does seem like this is mostly a feature that future-proofs this phone. I don't think you need to rush out and buy an iPhone this year just for 5G, but if you happen to have it now, it'll be nice. And if most people keep their phones 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it's really important for those purchases. So you can see why Apple did it, even if it's a little bit on the early side, maybe.
Well, and don't forget though, like that's only really decent advice in America because the ultra wideband version is only an American product. So like the iPhone 12 sold outside of America isn't future-proofed enough for 5G because it doesn't have support for ultra wideband. One detail from Dieter's review that I liked, which is I didn't know, I hadn't heard this anyway yet, that the iPhone will now be aware if you have an unlimited data plan, and if you do, you can download things like system updates over the air with LTE.
Ooh.
Because it knows that you don't have a meter, so why not just give it to you if your speeds are fast enough, which could be really good for people who can get faster LTE or 5G than they can home internet. Because for 5G, that is the future of it, right? Is that you might be able to be in a situation where your broadband is slow because you can't get fiber, but they can put 5G in the street outside, and then you can get faster internet at home that way. So that seems like a cool thing.
Yeah, I just changed my AT&T plan around. The plan I was on was old, and sent me some notice like, you got to change or whatever. And so we're on unlimited data with tethering now,
5G?
which is yes, with 5G.
You're going to have 5G before me because I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, it's like rolled into the new AT&T plan. So anyways, that's... I'll have all the G's. And just to clarify, ultra wideband is Verizon's millimeter wave. Like that's the same tech. I think I think the terms are interchangeable, but it's the same thing. It's the really high speed 5G.
Millimeter wave is the fast kind. Verizon's calling it ultra wideband. It's the same technology.
Yeah. And the sub-6 is sort of the run of the mill 5G that has much better coverage in terms of area.
Yeah, and it's faster, but it's not dramatically faster. It's just a bit faster than 4G or LTE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, all in all, like I'm excited for these phones. I think honestly, I'm more excited than I was. One thing that I've really thought more about since the event, I think the iPhone event was really confusing in places.
I hated the event.
I think
I was angry. The event made me angry because it was so confusing.
Yeah, I mean they didn't talk about 5G and other carriers until like one slide, but I think even like all the back and forth that we did and all of our peers did and tech reporting about what exactly was different on the cameras and the size and everything. Like Apple just didn't do a good job explaining it. And they also haven't done a good job on their website even showing, especially the 12 Pro. Like all the images are like draped in black. It's like the phone is emerging from the mist. Like, what will it look like? I mean, I get they want to be like have good branding and stuff. And like, you know, like even at the event, the 12 Pro was announced at night, I guess, when it was dark and the 12 was in daylight. Like I get all that. But at some point, I think the flashiness can get in the way of actual information people need. I think Apple may have gone too far this time.
It's just interesting to me that like they had the ability to do whatever they wanted. You know, like you know, it's like they could make that event whatever they wanted it to be because it was pre-done. You know what I mean? And I just think that they did a really weird job of explaining some of the stuff. And like they must have been watched back, and it's like it's too fast, right? It's like it was way too fast, too much information, and a lot of it not explained well enough. I was frustrated by it, honestly.
Yeah,
but I'm still waiting.
Anything else on the
No,
phones?
I mean, to me, it's just like all this looks great, but all I want to see is what the camera in the Pro Max does.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I care about.
Yeah, me too.
Do you though? Because
Maybe. All right, up next, we're going to talk about the iPad Air. Our very own Federico Vitici got a review unit, so we're going to talk about that after this break to tell you about Pingdom from SolarWinds. While you've been listening to this podcast, how would you know if your website had gone down? If customers couldn't click that Buy Now button or access your content? You could stumble across the problem by luck, or maybe someone would take the time out of the day to email you or send you a tweet, but that's not a good system, and you need a good system for stuff like this. You need something to tell you that everything is running smoothly on your site, and more importantly, when it's not. You need Pingdom. Pingdom detects around 13 million outages every month. That's more than 400,000 outages every day. Pingdom helps keep your sites and the sites you love, like Relay FM, online. It doesn't matter if you're a startup or a Fortune 500 company, you need alerts about any critical website issues. They'll let you customize how you're alerted depending on the severity of the outage, so you can get all sorts of things, push notifications, text, emails, all sorts of options. Plus, they track and analyze your website's load time, so you can see what's affecting your users' experiences. If you have a site of any size, you need Pingdom. And Pingdom has a no-fuss approach to getting started. All you have to do is give them the URL you want to monitor. That's it. They take care of the rest. So go to pingdom.com/relayfm right now for a 14-day free trial with no credit card required. When you sign up, use the code CONNECTED at checkout to get a huge 30% off your first invoice. Our thanks to Pingdom from SolarWinds for the support of this show and Relay FM. All right, Federico, tell us some about the iPad Air.
I don't know what you want to know. It looks like an iPad Pro 11-inch. It really does look like that. I got a sky blue review unit with the Magic Keyboard, the Apple Pencil, and the blue, actually deep navy smart folio case. I had a review on Mac Stories. I've been able to write and edit that review in 2 days, so that's a new record for me, and I'm really happy about that. Very easy, especially after the iOS 14 review. Very easy. I need to thank 4 people that really helped me this past 2 days. Our very own Steven, who sent me a video file that I use for testing purposes for exporting 4K content.
What video file was that?
It was the Mac Pro video. Yeah. Sylvia, who did the wallpapers for iPad, Brian, who did another special graphic for the wallpapers, and John, who went to bed really late last night because he read the review last night. So thank you, John. John has always been, as we know, the most trustworthy person I know. So just wanted to have a...
Although you didn't give him your credit card.
No, I just gave him I gave him a draft of a review that was under embargo with a non-disclosure agreement. So, I mean...
Technically broke the rules.
I mean, yes. He's part of the company, so I didn't break any rules.
Does it work like that? I don't think it works like that. Everyone needs an edit, all right? Everyone needs an edit. What are you going to do?
Yes. So yeah, just ask me whatever. I have all the answers. Well, most of them. No, I do have all of them. I have all the answers.
Whoa, that was a wild ride, wasn't it?
It's been a bit of a roller coaster. Right
He's
here,
one
yes,
with nature.
I really am. Yes. Ask me Ask me anything.
So physically, this thing is basically identical to the 11-inch iPad Pro with USB-C, right? I mean, in your pictures, side by side, they look identical. I guess the borders are slightly bigger around the display, but is that even noticeable in everyday use?
If you pay attention, like if you look really closely, if you know where to look, you can see the differences, right? The bezels are slightly thicker on the iPad Air compared to the iPad Pro. You don't really notice the difference in everyday usage. It's like, I don't know, 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters. Yeah, I think it's like 2 millimeters. It's like barely noticeable. You can tell in the photos if you zoom in, and you can tell that the iPad Pro has slightly thinner bezels, but it doesn't have any negative consequences on the overall look of the device. It looks premium. It feels premium. It feels like an iPad Pro. The other, I think, element that kind of gives it away is the Touch ID button. It's longer. It's bigger. It's got a bit of a bump compared to the standard top button, and it's glossy. It's got a glossy finish that matches the finish of your iPad. And then it mostly looks the same. I mean, obviously, if you compare the back of the device, and if you have a 2020 iPad Pro with the wide camera, ultra wide camera, and LiDAR scanner, and the big square-shaped camera bump, that's another factor that shows you the differences, because the iPad Air only has a single lens. It's only got the same 12 megapixel wide camera of the iPad Pro. It's the same one, but it doesn't have LiDAR and it doesn't have the ultra wide lens. Otherwise, it feels like an iPad Pro, works like an iPad Pro, and it supports the same accessories. So Magic Keyboard and second generation Apple Pencil. And the Magic Keyboard is literally the same. On the Apple Online Store, it's now labeled as Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro 11-inch and iPad Air 4th generation. My review unit just says Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro 11-inch. It's literally the same. And they are very similar devices. Obviously, the components inside are different, and the technologies are different. But in terms of using them, it just feels like using an iPad Pro.
How is Touch ID on the iPad? Does it change the experience from the Pro in any real meaningful way?
So I think if you evaluate that in isolation, coming from older devices with Touch ID, I think it's fine and it works well. You don't have the home button anymore, but you do get the edge-to-edge display. And Touch ID is fast, it works well, same performance as the second generation Touch ID, I think. You can either click, if you're on the lock screen, you can either click the button to wake the display and unlock the device. You just got to rest your finger on the sensor for like a split second. Or you can tap the screen or press the space bar if you have a keyboard and then rest your finger, and that will unlock the iPad.
I feel like you would stop doing that, right? So like that the what you just described there is with the Face ID iPads, you tap the space bar, Face ID recognizes you, and it opens. So like anybody that uses a keyboard on their iPad Pro all the time, this is how you unlock your iPad. You just tap a key, especially the space bar, because the space bar will perform the opening for you. But if you had to tap the space bar, then put your finger on the Touch ID, you just wouldn't do the space bar tapping. You'd always, I feel like you would just unlock, you would just tap.
You would just click it.
Right? Because you have to go up there anyway. You may
and that's the thing, right? In isolation, it's fine. It works well. It's got the same performance of like the iPhone 7 or the iPhone SE. Like it's the standard second generation, I think, Touch ID. And the button is also fine. It's a physical button. It's not like a haptic button. It's a real thing that you can push and it moves slightly, and it's glossy, so it looks nice. But coming from the iPad Pro, I prefer Face ID at this point. I prefer Face ID especially on the iPad because I tend to use my iPad Pro indoors. So when I'm not in my house, when I'm not wearing a
that's
mask.
the thing, right? It's like we're all asking for Touch ID back on our phones.
Yes, I would love to have this Touch ID, even this kind of Touch ID, right? Not even under the display, just in a button, it would be fine. But on the iPad Pro, I really prefer Face ID because all I need to do is just sit in front of my iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard, press the spacebar, and Face ID does its thing and unlocks automatically. And I'm like, I don't need to, like, it removes the need to think about authentication. It just happens.
Face ID on the iPad Pro is the best implementation of Face ID as well, right? So like that's the awkward part of this, but
yes,
right. Like so, my expectation is kind of what you've described and what you wrote in the review, right? Is that if you to go from the iPad Pro to the iPad Air, the biometric question is a murky one. It would surprise me if anybody preferred it, but if you are coming from any other iPad, I can't imagine it being as much of an issue. Right?
No, it's fine. You basically, instead of reaching to the, like if you're using it in landscape at a desk, instead of reaching to the right side, you just reach to the left side. If you're using the Magic Keyboard, because Touch ID it's still in a button, it's just a different button, and it's okay. If anything,
and they learned with the Face ID, right? It indicates where the button is for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You have that indicator on screen. And if anything, because you don't have the home button anymore, you're not, leaving smudges and fingerprints on the display, on the black bezel around the display. You're just touching the top button. So, but yeah, it's really fine. It works. It's Touch ID in a button, and I kind of missed it, and I really hope that it's coming to the iPhone eventually.
So you mentioned in the review a bunch about the fact that one of the big things for you is the promotion display, that it's not here.
Yeah.
Now, I've been trying to think about this recently because I don't have comparison devices. So I don't have an iPad that doesn't have promotion display. I don't have an old one, like, knocking around. I guess my Mini, so I could do a comparison there. But like, I haven't thought about like putting the two things side by side. So considering you have been doing that side by side comparison, which is just not something I thought that to do, what are you actually seeing or not seeing with the promotion display that would make you miss it in this device? Like, I would like you to try and explain it a little bit for me. Like, what is the experience difference like?
Without promotion, when you scroll the screen, any kind of movement, any kind of animation on screen, after you've gotten used to promotion, you always see like a blur.
Right.
You always see like it's not fluid.
It's because I don't have it on my phone, right? And I don't feel like I notice a difference between my iPad and my phone.
You don't notice the difference because it's a small display, and it's easier not to see the difference when a display is small. When a display is bigger, like the best test really is to swipe around pages on the home screen. Without promotion, you kind of see the blur behind the icons when you scroll. And with promotion, you just don't. You just see like the 120 Hz refresh. It means everything is just fluid. And when you scroll, like all the pixels like stay in place. I don't know how to describe it. You just gotta see it. But really, I guess without promotion, I kind of see a blurry leftovers on screen for any animation, right? For swiping across pages of icons, for closing apps. It's just not as fluid. It's just not as fast. And you can tell that the screen is not refreshing itself fast enough.
Okay. Yeah, because I've been thinking about it over the last week or so, right? Because we didn't get promotion on the iPhone. And I know it's something I want, but I don't know why I want it, right? Like, I want it because I figure it's going to be better. I believe people that tell me that it's way nicer on a phone to have a high refresh rate display. But, like, the only device I have on is my iPad, but I'm super used to the way that the iPad feels now. So in my mind, I'm just assuming that, like, that promotion display is just part of the iPad experience. It's part of what makes an iPad nice to use, but I didn't have something to compare it with. But now you've reminded me, I have that Mini, right? So I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to just play with the Mini and the Pro. But like, the thing is about that is like the Mini's display is so much worse than the Pro's display anyway that it might not be a good comparison. It really does feel like probably the best comparison is like side by side is the the iPad Air and the 11-inch iPad Pro, because I guess display-wise, they're probably closest to, right? Aside from the promotion, is the display comparable?
Oh yeah, it supports True Tone, white color, the same anti-reflective coating that is not really anti-reflective, and I guess it's slightly dimmer than the iPad Pro by 100 nits.
Oh no!
So yeah, it's
I don't really know what that means.
It doesn't.
What about the pixels per inch?
Yeah.
Do you know that? It's okay if you don't. That's just
same PPI. Yeah,
it's a great.
There's
it's
like
a great iPad, right?
It's a really great iPad. It's like really the best way to think about it is it's an iPad Pro without some Pro stuff. What you're losing is, I would say, Face ID, the ProMotion display, and the larger storage options.
Yep.
Because you can get an iPad Pro that goes all the way up to 1 terabyte of storage. The iPad Air maxes out at 256 gigs of storage.
Yeah, that's where the price part starts to get a bit murky for me. It's like $599 for 64 gigabytes. And the next one is $256 for $749.
Yep.
And then it's like, as you mentioned in the review, a 256 gigabyte iPad Pro is $899. So that price difference is getting closer and closer the more that you go up. And I've previously said it on the show, and I stand by it. 64 gigabytes is not enough for an iPad in 2020. It just isn't enough storage for a device which will be used for heavy media consumption. Right, like it's what an iPad, it's like part of what the iPad is for, is a big design, like, use case for these devices. It's like you fill that thing up with video when you're traveling, and 64 gigabytes is not going to get you very far. So I that is for me, like, not having used the thing and read your review and looked at the specs, the biggest downside of this product, I think, is the starting storage. I think 64 gigabytes is way too small.
Yeah, agreed. And when you get to the larger capacity of the Air, if you max it out, there's only like $150 difference between the same storage of the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. But really, my takeaway from this is that the market for the 11-inch iPad Pro just became a lot smaller, and it kind of feels like, and this is from the conclusion of the review, so sorry for the spoilers, I guess, but my speculation here is that this move of having the iPad Air being so similar to the iPad Pro 11-inch maybe suggests that Apple is sort of giving themselves the opportunity to make more expensive and maybe even bigger iPad Pros in the future, because they have this new baseline for an 11-inch tablet, right? And it's a very good iPad, and it's got, arguably, it covers the essentials of the iPad Pro experience really well. You have the Magic Keyboard, the second generation Apple Pencil, and the edge-to-edge display. And sure, the iPad Pro 11-inch has more stuff, but it kind of feels like, I think at this price point, the iPad Air is a better deal than an 11-inch iPad Pro. And I kind of read, sort of between the lines here, sort of feels like Apple is saying, we now have this iPad Air, it's 11-inch, it's an 11-inch tablet. Now in the future, we can make a more expensive iPad Pro, a more expensive 12.9, and maybe even a larger iPad Pro, because we now have this really solid option at 11 inches. So I don't know. This is all speculation on my part. Obviously, if you are a professional user and you really feel like you absolutely need an 11-inch tablet, then the 11-inch iPad Pro is the answer for you. But as I argued at the end of the story, I think the question now, if you're in the market for a new iPad and you're thinking about the iPad Pro, I think the real answer you should ask yourself is not, should I choose between the iPad Air and the 11-inch iPad Pro? I think the real question is, do I need a 12.9-inch iPad Pro? Because that's I think on balance, that's the deciding factor at this point. I think the 12.9-inch iPad Pro is now more important in a way than the 11-inch iPad Pro because of the iPad Air.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, and I do tend to agree with you that I think it gives Apple options with the Pro that it doesn't have currently. I mean, for someone who has a Pro now, I don't think this is a purchase that makes sense. But if you're holding on to
Right.
an older iPad Pro, one of the Touch ID ones, or an original, kind of basic iPad or something like that, this seems like a fantastic upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and I don't think anybody like I compared the iPad Air and the 11-inch iPad Pro not because I'm suggesting that there's gonna be people who are gonna switch from the iPad Pro to the iPad Air. Like, you shouldn't do that, because even the 2018 11-inch iPad Pro, which I have, outperforms in multi-core, for example, the iPad Air, and it's got ProMotion, and it's an iPad Pro. You can get it in 1 terabyte of storage. USB transfers go all the way up to 10 gigabit per second. Like, it's still an iPad Pro. But I think what you said, Steven, if you have an older iPad, like a base model iPad or the old iPad Air, for example, or maybe even an iPad mini, this is a really good iPad. And to me, this is the new default. Like, someone who doesn't have an iPad at all and wants to buy a new one, I would recommend, before I would have said get the 11-inch iPad Pro. Now I would say get the iPad Air, because this is the new default, I think. Like, if you don't have an iPad at all, I think you could, and if you don't need ProMotion, if you don't need 1 terabyte of storage, if you don't need fast data transfers, just get this one.
It really does feel like there must be updates coming to the iPad Pro that are going to push it. Right, that would be the natural assumption, because they didn't need to take all of the steps that they took with this iPad Air to get this close to the iPad Pro. And they left some things out, but arguably some of the things they left out were the things that maybe make the most sense to leave out if you're going to leave stuff out. But like the design, especially, right? Like, it's like you maybe didn't have to make it look exactly like one. Like the Pro, so it's very intriguing. Your review did remind me, Federico, of the time when the iPad Air used to be the Pro iPad.
Remember that? It used to be the best one.
It was the only one that did multitasking for a while.
It was the only one. And in fact, I linked my one of my first big iPad stories, the one about the iPad Air 2 from 2015. That was before iOS 9 and before the iPad Pro.
I bought the iPad Air 2 in San Francisco, I think the day after the WWDC keynote where they announced multitasking, because I didn't have one.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't there.
Then.
I
was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Did you ever do a San Francisco WWDC?
What? Just one, the last one, the very last one. I closed the show.
Yeah, I remember I went and bought it because it was like, oh, I want to try that. That sounds like a good thing, and turns out it was.
I have one particular complaint here that I need to share. The sky blue color. It really isn't blue. It's a very, very subtle shade of blue. And in certain daylight conditions, if the light hits it just right, you can tell that it's sky blue. I don't think it comes, from my photos. I don't think you can tell that it's a sky blue color.
I like the color in your photos. I like the color that Apple puts on their website. Those two colors are not the same.
Sure.
Right?
No, and I tried in multiple, in different places, inside and outside. And then I just figured, let's just use plenty of natural light and see what happens. And that photo, that's just what it looks like. It's silver. It really does look silver. And if you're indoor and you have standard LED or fluorescent lights, it just looks kind of gray and kind of silver.
Have you considered that it's sky blue because it matches the color of the sky that's above you, and maybe depending on who you are in the world, it's a different color?
Oh no, my sky
very
is
blue, the bluest
than,
sky.
Then it's the clearest blue. Yes, and no, this is really not as blue as you would think it is, and also the mismatch between the deep navy Smart Folio and the sky blue. I don't get it.
Well, that was just a mistake on the part of the person who put your review package together.
Well, no, because...
Why would you choose that? You would get a different color.
Because, I know, but on principle, they should have made the surf blue folio. that they do sell right now for the 11-inch iPad Pro. I just don't get it. Why does the 11-inch iPad Pro get fun Smart Folio colors, but the iPad Air, which is advertised as being the
which
fun
is the
one
other way around.
with the colorful options.
Usually the iPad Pro gets
like,
terrible colors.
Exactly. And instead, the iPad Air got the terrible colors. I mean, have you seen the green Smart Folio?
I'm going to look at it.
It's like an abomination. It's horrible. It's a
The
horrible
Cypress green. It's not the best green. I would pair your iPad with the pink citrus iPad Air Smart Folio. It's probably the one I would go with.
And so, but otherwise, really good, really, really good iPad.
Can you imagine if
difference?
they released this iPad without there being a Pro? You know, like just that world, like how great that would be.
We'd be freaking out, man. It'd be
Or
amazing.
if like they released this one with the iPad Pro before they made this iPad Pro design, like how conflicted it would be.
Yeah, it would be.
You know what I mean? Like if the iPad Pro looked like it did the original design, right? And then they brought out a new iPad Air and it looked like this. Oh my God, that'd be wild.
Yeah, it would have been incredible. Also, I want to mention the A14 Bionic, which is in this iPad. It's not in the iPad Pro. Obviously, the iPad Pro is still on the A12Z system. And the A14 Bionic, in single-core performance, it beats comfortably the A12Z of the 2020 iPad Pro. So I really want to see what happens once Apple makes that A14X chip that was rumored a while back as being the chip for the first Apple Silicon Mac and the next iPad Pro. I want to see the performance of that. I think it's going to be really fun. And also Touch ID in a button. I really hope that Apple brings this to the iPhone and to iPads. I'm really into the idea of multiple authentication options now because of the pandemic. I think it's really needed.
Like now that they've made it, like I can't believe that they would do all of that just for this one product. But we'll see. Do it to the Mini next. Do this iPad Air to the Mini next. Come on, Apple.
Oh my God. Imagine. Did you see the footnote that I had about the Mini?
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, there was a footnote. Like, imagine an iPad Mini with a liquid retina display, Touch ID.
Yeah. That's the dream.
And the A14. Yeah, it would be really, really nice.
Like the original iPad Mini. Like, do you remember the original iPad Mini was just way too powerful?
Yeah.
Right? Like, because was it the original one or the second one where it was like they brought out the regular iPad and the iPad Mini and they were exactly the same except screen size difference?
The second one went retina and it was incredible. Yes.
Please.
So yeah, iPad Air, there's a review, there's photos, there's wallpapers if you're a club member.
Good wallpapers.
It's a really good iPad. Thank you. Well, Sylvia made them. So
yep. Thank you, Sylvia.
Thanks, Sylvia.
Yes. We also have iPad Air wallpapers, and as John noticed on App Stories, these are probably the world's first iPad Air wallpapers. Like, you cannot find any other iPad Air wallpapers because this is a new 10.9-inch display. So this is like kind of an exclusive.
It's not that great of an exclusive. I'm pleased for you, but like as far as world's
it's
first,
like I'm the first person who filled a performer with bouncy balls. Like,
world's
cool.
first.
Look, we can have our own personal world records.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm in favor of it.
I need to
No
have
one's taking
this.
it away from you. You've definitely done it.
Okay.
Maybe I put the Mac Pro feet and wheels on NextServe. I could be the first person to do that.
I don't want you to do that.
Something to think about.
I want you to do what I asked you to do.
Well, I think that about does it this week, boys.
Yeah.
If you want to find links to everything we spoke about, including Federico's excellent iPad Air review, they are in the show notes. You can find them on the web at relay.fm/connected/317. While you're there, there's some fun stuff you can do. You can send us an email with feedback or follow-up, or you can become a member. Members get a lot of cool perks, including Connected Pro, which is a episode each and every week without ads and with bonus stuff. This week's pre-show was a real adventure. I'll just leave it at that. You can find us all online. You can find Myke Hurley online. He's on Twitter as IMYKE. Myke, I have a question about podcasting for you.
No way.
I know, it's weird, right? Do you remember or do you know what year Apple added podcasts to iTunes?
I know it was the same keynote as the Intel transition.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that was in the year 2007.
I would have said 3.
Or 05. 05 or 07.
It's 05.
I knew it was one of the two.
No.
I'll put Macworld's live blog of it that Jason and Peter Cohen did.
That's fun.
It'll be in the show notes.
That keynote is so fun for me because it was the keynote that made me decide I was buying my first Mac. And it's also the time that Apple put podcasts in iTunes. So just like for me personally, what a seminal moment in my life, right? Where I decided to be a Mac user and also, oh, hey, podcasting looks interesting.
You can find Federico online on Twitter at Viticci, Viticci. He is the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net. Federico, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What is your favorite international food?
Well, I will mention a recent discovery of mine, which is a vegetable that we don't really see here in supermarkets in Italy, and that would be pak choi.
Hey!
Yes.
There we go.
I discovered this a few months ago, and I am absolutely in love.
Stephen, have you ever eaten pak choi?
No, in fact, I was Googling it quietly in the background.
Ah, it's very nice. It's got almost like it's got a slight, very, very slightly kind of spicy-ish taste to it.
Oh, yes.
Like.
It's a type of Chinese cabbage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Google served you well.
Very flavorful.
Varieties are popular in southern China and Southeast Asia. It's winter hardy, increasingly grown in northern Europe.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, I just knew all that. Definitely not reading from the internet.
It's interesting that you know all of that, but you've never tried it.
You don't have to taste something to know it.
Right.
You can find me on Twitter as ISMH and my writing over at 512pixels.net. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Squarespace, Mack Weldon, and Pingdom. Until next time, gentlemen, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.